morning. Good morning. Okay. I'll use this one. I burned one of the pots. I was inside getting ready, and then I realized that the water had evaporated in the chickpeas that I was cooking. So, which means that my chickpea pan, the pot, has burned the bottom. So what are we gonna do today? Let's get some coffee. Ooh. You know, I have not used my smoked paprika that much. I need to get it out. You would be proud of me. I have not had any milk in my coffee for a while now. Alrighty. I've used that monk fruit a little bit. I'm not crazy about it, but it is what it is. I still tap it with a little bit of Splenda. Why do I do that? I'm a Splenda kind of person, I have to say. Alright, so what's on top today? So I cooked some chickpeas, and I almost burned the whole thing, but the bottom is burned, but I was able to save some of that. So, again, I haven't been to the store in a couple of weeks, so it was a matter of looking in the fridge and see what I have. Good morning, good morning. So I have chickpeas. I do have a little bit of rice, not much. You know, I'm not eating rice, but thinking of what I have and the dishes that I can come up with. So I'm doing 2 dishes today. So I'm going to be using, I find okra, I have some zucchini and squash. One of them is getting soft. And I have some chayote. So the chayote takes a little bit to cook. So as soon as I get the peas done, I'm going to get on the chayote. And then I had some leftover kale. I'm like, I got to use that kale before it goes bad. In fact, I look in the fridge, I had 2 crowns of broccoli that are looking, so I can't use them in the dish to show you guys, but I am going to steam it and add a little garlic and stuff. I'm not going to let it go to waste, right? But what I thought I would do with the chickpeas, I have something that I usually call, we call that sauce-pois, but it's like pea soup, right? You could use it with dry beans, or you could do it with green peas, like lima beans, green peas, pigeon peas. So, but I know the pigeon peas takes a little bit longer to cook, so we're not using pigeon peas. But I do have some like baby lima bean. Remember I told you I found, and I bought 2 bags. I have that left. And I have some green peas, which has a fair amount of protein. And I want to use the leftover frozen okra that I had to buy last time I was looking for okra. I prefer fresh, of course. But I was talking to a sister yesterday. She was saying the same thing. She said, in Panama, good morning, Patrick, good morning. She said, if you're in Panama, you see something that you like, buy a bunch of it if you can. Either you freeze it up because the next time you go, it's not going to be there. And that is true. That is so true. So I'm going to use part of the chickpeas. I'm going to pulse it in the blender and then with some water to try to make a puree, right? Because that's what we do with the dried beans. We cook it, we take part of it, and we mash it. You could mash it with this, with a masher. You can mash it. When I was growing up, we used the pilon. I don't think I have it anymore. Oh, I think I threw it away. The wooden, what do you call that, pestle? Anyway, we used to mash it. And then you put water and then you extract, the part of the peas, and then you throw it back into the rest of the whole peas, then you season. So it's like a soupy pea soup, right? Pea soup. So we're gonna do that with the chickpeas, and then I'm gonna throw in some of the lima beans and then the green peas. And then I'm definitely gonna put some curry and turmeric because I'm looking for a golden type of color. Now, I have only a little bit of quinoa left, but I do have a little bit of rice, so I'm going to use like a little handful just so that I can mold a ramekin to put it in the dish, right? And the meat that I have, or the protein, I have some leftover salmon from when I had bought the whole salmon. So I see like it's got 4 pieces. So we're gonna use 2 for one dish and 2 for another. They're not huge, but they'll work. So that's that. Also, I'm gonna make a vegetable medley, with the chayote and the squash. I think that would be good. Because I don't have spinach or anything, I don't have any peppers. Again, using what you have in your house to come up with something. Then I had some leftover kale. I love that kale salad that I made. And I'm like, all right, let's make another salad. I used some of the kale last time in my fish soup, and it was amazing. With the, I put marinara and everything. And with the crab and the mackerel, and it was so good. And it had no potatoes, nothing like that in it. It was all greens and so good. I want to make it again. I do have some leftover mackerel. And so I'm going to make a kale salad. I'm going to roast some of the chickpeas so we can use them as croutons. And then part of the zucchini and squash, I'm going to cut a little bit of it so I can add it to the salad. And Friday when I was coming back from La Chorrera, I bought an avocado. We are not in avocado season. So this one is probably from somewhere, I don't know. But again, it's always a surprise when you cut into it how good it is. So we're going to find out together. But I think with the kale salad, I can either do like a part of somewhat of a guac, or I can just dice them. Could do either or. But I have no onions in the house. So we're gonna do what we have. We're gonna use what we have. Okay, so let me turn the oven on, and then we're gonna get the chickpeas in there because I like them to be nice and toasty. So, and usually with the chickpeas, I can use my little pans. I don't do bread or anything like that, so I use it for the chickpeas, and I can throw them in there. And season them, and of course, because I'm crazy about turmeric, so we're gonna put turmeric and curry powder, right? In with the chickpeas. And I have a little bit of my herb oil still here. So we're going to toss them in there. Okay? That is what the plan is. So it becomes like the crouton for our salad, but it needs to be nice and crispy. So I usually like to put it in the in the oven early on. Yes. You see how I almost burnt the chickpeas? No bueno. But, you know, when I'm here with you guys, this is it. This is real. I don't try to put on a show or put on a face showing you that I'm the perfect cook and everything goes well all the time. No. Alright? Herb oil. Poquitito. Let's salt, pepper, but a little bit more. Turmeric. I love turmeric. And curry powder. You're making chickpea croutons, except you're using chickpeas and not the bread. But of course they don't put all that in their croutons, right? We just put a little bit of oil, some dry herbs. So we're gonna put that in there and let it. So, now I'm going to start the peas, right? So we have some coffee. That's good. Maybe I'm working my way towards just drinking the coffee plain. Alright? That's a struggle for me right now. Alright. So let us chop some garlic. Don't have any onions. I don't even think I have any kind of green bean I could use. I have a little bit of that leek left. Ooh. Oh, we got basil in here. Alright. And I have some jalapeno. Okay. So, let's put some oil. I'm just getting the bottom ready for the peas, right? When I add the peas, so they will have a little something to season it. So, last week I used some, I saved these to make stock. But I think I can cheat over here and use a little bit of these instead of onion, because I don't have onions. See, this is what you do as a cook. You just kind of, you know the principle and you do what you have, what you can to kind of bring up the flavor, because you know me, it's all about flavor. Yep, that will work. Alright, so I don't want the dark part, right? I'm going to throw that in here. Let's see if I can get a little bit from this. Do the same thing. Hopefully that's not the one with the sand. Very good. That's so onion wannabe. Substitute for onion. Alright, so now we're going to save this. Because yes, I need to make vegetable stock. So, here we go. That goes back in. Don't throw it away. Never, never, never. Alright. So in this type of dish, you don't need to put carrots and stuff like that because you want to keep the integrity of the green. Alright. So a little bit of leek. Why not? Who says I can't use leek? I don't have any peppers. So I'm gonna go in here. But don't you worry, it's still gonna come out banging, I promise you. And of course, I'm cooking for me. I don't eat anything that doesn't have flavor. If it doesn't have flavor, I didn't make it, and I'm not eating it. Yesterday I went to an event. The food was good. I like Thai food. But it was a bit heavy on the salt and the soy sauce. So for me, that is kind of dangerous because I don't want my pressure to get affected. And soy sauce makes me swell. Makes me retain fluid. So, don't want that. Bringing in the garlic. I got plenty of garlic, so I can go a little heavy on the garlic to kind of make up for what I'm missing. I'm also going to add some jalapeno. Who doesn't love jalapeno? Oh, I love jalapenos. I think I would do really well on the farm just because I like all the plants and veggies. The only thing I always think when I see somebody working in a field, I'm like, snakes, snakes. Now that's a no bueno for me. Yesterday someone posted a coral snake or two in El Valle. El Valle has a lot of snakes. I don't know. I don't think I could live there because of that. People finding scorpions in their bed. No. I love nature. Maybe from a distance. From a distance. I don't think I could do it. Ooh. Alright. Well, we're letting this kind of marinate slowly because the heat is kind of low. We're going to get our blender ready for our puree. So I'm going to use not all the chickpeas, but some. If I could get the ones with the dogs, some of the pieces that were almost burned. And then the rest of them I'm going to go in here, getting seasoned, getting beautified. You know, bean puree, pea puree like that, you can use any kind of grain you want with it. It is such a yummy dish. And also you can add things like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Oh my gosh. Yes. Alright, so now I'm going to use some of that water. And it was cooked in. And we're going to pulse it. think I did more than pulse it, didn't I? I blended it, which is fine. So I'm gonna turn the heat up. We're gonna season all this before I strain that in here. Okay? Yes. Alright. Let's season. And remember, I'm looking for an orange color. So again, we're gonna use some, a little heavy on the pepper here. But I love black pepper, so no worries. And turmeric. You know, you want to use turmeric, but don't go too heavy. Don't eat it like every day or something like that, right? Because too much of it can affect your liver. So don't go crazy. I don't know if you recall, I found some hot sauce with maracuya, which is passion fruit. So, hey, why not? A little bit here. Very good. And I found sriracha, and I've been using it. You know, if you like a little meat, if you don't have to do it. I think I'm going to use the smoked paprika today. I bought it at Cisco, which is this store that usually sells to restaurants, but then it says, hot sauce, open to the public. So I'm putting a little bit of my smoked paprika. Ooh, that passion fruit is strong. Now that was curry powder. Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. Wow, okay. And some adobo. So we have garlic, adobo, black pepper, paprika. Then we're looking for cumin. Cumin kind of stabilizes everything, right? Comino en español. Alright. So we're good. This pot cooks fast because it's very thin at the bottom. Alright, so now let's just pour our chickpea puree. Yeah, that's how you make pea soup. You puree part of it, and then you leave the rest whole. No, you probably say, why go through all that trouble? This is about building consistency, right? Otherwise, you cook it, you'd have to put cornstarch, which you can. But that's how I was taught as I was growing up. Okay? Alright, so we're going to put that in the trash. And you know I don't like to throw away anything, but in this instance, we do. This is the rest of the water that the chickpeas cooked in. Alright. Yep. So I have my kale soaking in vinegar and baking soda. Then I'm going to rinse it really good, and then I'm going to put it to air out so it will dry a little bit before I use it in my salad. All right, so okay, my color is coming up perfectly. So here I could add a bouquet garni just to make sure I'm continuing to build flavor. Let's see. Oh, it's good already. Ooh-wee. I love it when it comes together. I think I have enough heat. I don't need to add any more heat. What did I say I was going to put in here? Okay, it escaped me. Oh, bouquet garni. Bouquet. Bouquet garni. Oh, I remember fast. So proud of myself. The bouquet garni, we already cooked the chickpeas with bay leaves, so we don't need to add bay leaves. You know, with spices, you don't ever want to go too far, you know, too heavy, because then you have one flavor competing against each other. So everything needs to be in scale. So if you put enough before, don't add any more. All right. So let us make a bouquet. A bouquet garni. Parts of my beautiful thyme is drying out, so I'm going to use some of that. I love thyme. Oh, and then my rosemary, I've been using it when I cook the fish, which we're going to use again today when we cook the salmon. So, ooh. Now, the cilantro is a bit suspect, but we're gonna get what we need out of it and keep it moving. It doesn't look that fresh, right? But it's gonna do its job for what I need. Because remember, I haven't been to the store, so I'm just going off of what I have left in the house. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I don't like to throw away anything. I don't even know if I have enough dill. Dill goes well with the salmon. All right. So now, while this is doing its thing, let us get the veggies going. And for the veggies today, I'm using my my cast iron. It cooks more evenly and faster. Or I could use I could use the Dutch oven. The Dutch oven works too. Oops. The Dutch oven is a lot easier to use because the cast iron, when I finish, I have to make sure it's okay, greasing it, putting it in the oven so I can keep the surface looking good. Alright, so so now we're going to be working on our chayote. Remember, I don't have any onions, so the chayote is going to be my main veggie in here. The other reason I want to use it is because I don't want it to go bad. I bought two. And I guess I've been lazy. After I cook here on Sundays, I don't usually, do a big thing during the week. I just look and just mix here, this and that, and that's how I eat the rest of the week. Alright. So we're going to do the same thing here with with our veggies. We're going to start, and okay, this time I'm not going to be using any more of the leek because the hard, heavy green part, that's what's left, and it's going to take too long to cook. So we're going to start with some oil and some garlic, and then throw the chayote in there. So yesterday, I hope some of you were birthday party, and it was so lovely. You know, she turned 72. My God, she doesn't look a day over 50. And she moves, she teaches. That's what being, what's the word? Vibrant, right? That's what vibrancy looks like. When somebody is not defined by their age, you know, they're able to enjoy life, create. And then it was also a good example of community abroad for you folks who might be on the other side, just to see, you know, how sisters get together and support, love another, right? So that was lovely. And as I said, I don't usually get out, you know, go out to events, but she personally invited me, and she's part of my group, so I'm glad I went. And you know, a lot of our sisters from SWRA were there too, so I took a bunch of pictures with my sisters, and it was just a lovely evening. The food wasn't, you know, I love their food. It was just really salty for my taste, but, and then they were, you know, they were coming around saying, would you like to make this cake home? I'm like, oh, no, thank you. You know, they catered the event, and then they still had leftovers, so people went home with like a covered dish. I did not. I had very little, and then I didn't want to push it. Don't overdo it, Maggie. So these veggies are going to be simply seasoned, right? Because I only have garlic. I do have thyme here. As I said, the cilantro is like dying, literally. Because as I said before, cilantro does not hold here in Panama. Parsley does, but again, now I don't know what they spray on it and what keeps it from going bad, so that's a concern. Alright, let's start with some EVOO. Warming up. Let's get the chayote going. Chayote. They look a little long necked here, where at home they're about this big. But I don't know. I can't explain to you why that is. That's just the way they look. And then I'm going to chayote, it takes a little while to cook. And I wish I had one of those slicers that kind of gives you like a really thin texture. I think I showed you before, when you're cooking, when you're eating chayote, you got to get rid of all the ridges, otherwise it's really tough when you bite into it, which is a no bueno. Some people may not want to deal with chayote because it is kind of a labor-intensive type of veggie to get ready, but I'm used to it, so I don't mind. So instead of doing cubes, I'm doing really thin slices so that it can cook faster. Yep. That's the intent. Cooking with the purpose. Always think of the science of what you're doing and timing, so that one thing is not overcooked and the other one is not. So you're doing multitasking actually. You really are when you're cooking. Okay, I wanted this to come to a boil. Very good. And I'll be looking at the texture and the timing. I know the lima bean is going to take a little longer to cook, so I'll put that in. And then I'm going to blanch the green peas so I can get some green in there. The lima bean, I can't. I get in the kitchen and it's like game over. I'm all energized, and of course I got some caffeine. Now see, it went down again. What is wrong with this? Probably the burner. I need to do a little something with the burner again. All right. So today I don't have anywhere to go after this. I have another video that I interviewed this sister. I'm gonna get that ready for maybe Tuesday. I'm thinking Tuesday and Friday is gonna be my video days. Tuesday I do a sit down video or something, and then Friday is gonna be the neighborhood walks. And there's so many neighborhoods to visit in Panama. I'm gonna be doing that for a while. Because people just don't know a lot about Panama. They just know, they go on tours, and they know the neighborhood that they live in and their friends live in. But there's a lot more to Panama. And yes, I'll be going in the interior as well. But usually it's not just to show you what they look like, it's just as a potential place that expats can consider living in. Right? Because we are looking to, and this sister came to me, she said, all right, I know I saw your video, but the snake and the dog would keep me out. I said, well, I understand. But people get bit by dogs here too in the city, so, you know. But I know I'm not going to El Valle because of the snake. They're just too frequent. All right, so now we're going to slice our chayote. Okay. That works. Yes, I had to plug my phone in. I had it at the bedside, so the charges were, let me see where it's at now. If it's 50%, I can take it off the cord. And we're going to cover this, let them cook, and then add the zucchini. The zucchini, I might do some on the side separately, because I want to use, remember, some of them in my kale salad, and those I want to be cubed. So again, the scientist is thinking. Because when you shred, you break up your the kale. I just kind of use my hand and kind of ripped it. And then so you're thinking of, size this big. So you don't want to put like julienne and stuff. So you're going to dice some of the veggies. This is what I'm going to do. Then once we get the veggies going, I'm going to season the salmon and cook a little bit of rice, like one handful. Oh my gosh. I said my belly button was cut with rice, and now I can't have it. That is not fair. There were a couple of places I want to go to and show you what they look like. I think I posted about Organica before. So you can find, those are people who are looking for like fragrance-free detergent and cleaners and stuff like that. You can find all those at Organica. That's what it is, Organica. I think it's a very fitting name, organic, right? All right. Again, I'm gonna slice down and ridges that are really hard. There are also two fruits that I discovered here in Panama in this season, and sapote and what's the other one again? Oh, I don't know what the other one is called. It's like a very hairy red type of fruit. You peel it, and then there is like a big pit inside with a nice, I don't know what you call it, like transparent, transparent thing. So you kind of, you put it in your mouth and you kind of get rid of the transparent thing. You eat it and then you throw it with the pit, of course. All right. Almost done. This is the labor of love. That's why I have to have a metal proper knife. So that I couldn't handle the chef's knife here. And that's how you might cut yourself if you don't use the right knife. Okay? Now I'm going to use the chef's knife and yep. Before we add the zucchini, it doesn't take a long time to cook. So, alright. The chayote is very good in terms of if you want to dice it small, put it in soups and stews, it's just perfect. Now, you guys saw me trying one of the very local dishes here called huacho. I did not like that, but I don't think it's the dish. I think it's the way it was prepared. I didn't care for it. So, but I'm going to go on Friday. I wasn't free yesterday, but Friday night I'm going to go to my favorite fonda, El Moquete, and see if I can find the huacho again that I found when my daughter was here visiting. Yep. Alright, so now we're going to season, add a little water. I don't think I have vegetable, which is too bad. I'm not using smoked paprika this time, regular paprika. Now, you know, all the herbs that we're going to use them towards the end, right? As always. As I always tell you, remember what Mikey said? Ooh, that's turmeric. That's not what I want. I want comino, cumin. Garlic. So I think I'm going to add some fresh thyme. That would be really a good addition to this. Sometimes I have a hard time finding time and I panic. I'm like, what do you mean I take it outside? My food's not going to taste the same without it. Sometimes I have a hard time. And then sometimes you find it. But it's one of those herbs that kind of lasts a little bit. So it's a bit kind to me. Throw it in there. my pot here. Alright. We are going to let it cook. Alright. Let's check on our peas. Probably time for me to add the so I think the color is just right. So let's do our little reset. Yep. Okay. All right. So let me add the lima bean. Ooh, let me not forget the okra. Something else you could do with this, with the pea mixture, you can add some potatoes towards the end. You could do some sweet potato and squash. I have done that. Broccoli. I love, what is it again? Brussels sprouts. Alright, these are my chickpeas. They're almost ready. So, let this cook. Okay. I think I'm going to take the charger off so we can move with this a little bit better. Alright. So now we're going to finish off with our veggies. Good morning. Buenos dias. How are you feeling? I'm good. That was a wonderful yes. Is your camera near a fan? Are you hearing blowing sound? Okay. Yes, I do have a little fan blowing on me, but let me turn the AC on instead. Alright. Thanks, Carol. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing good. I came home and I relaxed. Newport Beach, California. Hola. Patrick was here first. Excellent, you guys. Okay, so today it was about finding what I have in the fridge because I haven't been to the store in a couple of weeks. Okay, I have some leftover salmon we're gonna cook. I decided to do like a pea puree with chickpeas. I just added some lima beans, and then I'm gonna finish it off with some green peas. But as I said, in this, you could make it almost like a curry. You could add some okra, you could put potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash. I have put broccoli and Brussels sprout, which I love, but Brussels sprout is super expensive here, so I don't usually buy it unless I see it's on a special or something. Just kind of like cauliflower. Those two are very pricey. So with the pea puree, you could do a grain. I have very little bit of quinoa, so I can do that, but I do have a bit of rice, so I'm going to cook a little bit of white rice so we can mold it and put the pea puree around it. So the next thing is like, oh, I got some veggies I need to get rid of. So I just sliced really thinly some chayote with garlic. I have no onion, so we're gonna work on the on the flavor. Don't worry, it's gonna be okay. And then when I did my my Abroad-SWRA tour, I bought some squash and zucchini. Well, I lost one of the squash because it's like nice and soft because it's been a while. So, right? So we're going to, I'm going to wash these, and then that's going to go in with the chayote. I don't have any other veggies, but usually when I cook veggies myself, I cook whatever I have and then I save the rest and just, you know, finish it off during the week somehow. But I want to cube some of the squash, both, you know, the zucchini and squash, so I can add to my kale salad. I had half of a bag of kale, and I'm like, I need to get rid of it before it goes bad. And then it hurts me when I have good, yummy veggies and I forget them, and then I can look at them and like they're like bad. I feel bad. Like I just threw away a whole. That hurts because these are hard to find. You can't find them very often, and they don't look like the one that you're used to in the States. They don't have that pale, you know, color like this. You see that? All orangey. Mwah! I love it. So, we're going to do that. Then I burn one of my pans that's usually used for the rice, but I think I haven't. I'm gonna cook a little bit of rice because the salmon I'm gonna do last, right? Because salmon doesn't take a long time to cook. And I'm going to, I was telling, did I tell Carol that? I read somewhere that says if you brush the skin, you know, some people take the skin off their salmon. I don't do that. I love the skin. So it says if you brush it with a little bit of mayonnaise and then you put it in, on the oil, it crispens the skin. So we're going to try that this morning. I don't have mayo, and Carol is like, you can make your own mayo. My arms are tired today. But I have a little bit of tartar sauce, which works with seafood anyway. So I'm going to brush a little bit of that and see if that works. Now, the way I build flavor in my fish, I season my fish for like 5-10 minutes. You don't need to season fish a lot. And then in the oil, I always add a little bit, I add a little bit of butter. You know, when you go to cooking school, they tell you, you have that, you know, and I use that good unsalted New Zealand butter. The butter here, I tried it and it's like no bueno, so I haven't touched it since. I only did it one time. And you go to Ray, you find that New Zealand, I think I'm almost out of this one. It's a New Zealand brand. Ooh, for you, Carol, Anchor, right? This Anchor, and it's a good brand. Ooh, I think I dropped something. So, wash the hands. All right, I think I'm going to turn the oven off. That my chickpeas, curry chickpeas that I cooked, that I roasted, that's going to go into my kale salad with the veggies. I have, you know, I always have this salad dressing mix in my fridge. I just take it out and sit it on the stove and let it thaw out. And that's what I'm going to use in my kale salad. Sometimes you could put a little bit of blue cheese, or you have queso fresco here. Friday, I went with a friend to a little place in Marbella called Les Mex. And this is a quaint place. They have like seats and sofas, and they will have music playing. People go and they have a glass of wine. And then it's kind of open, the breeze. It's really, really a cool little place. And people go there by themselves. You don't need to be with a friend, but I have a friend visiting, so we went. And I had a smoked salmon salad with radicchia. It was amazing. And you know, if I tell you it was amazing, it was. And then they used pieces of I don't know what kind of cheese it was. Probably was queso fresco. And the dressing was light. I ate it all. It was amazing. So I know next time I go, you know, she had a burger. I'm not gonna order that, but I think the first time I went, I had some kind of fish. You can, and then the cook is good. The cook is good. So I don't mind going there once in a while. So this is a place, if I take a metro, 2 stops, I cross over the overpass and I walk there. And then on the way back, I just catch the bus at Parque Yuraca, 2 stops, and I'm home. So that's a good thing to do. All right. Let us wash these and cut them up. With soap and water and scrub. Yes. I was talking to the sister at the party yesterday, and I was telling her how I wash my veggies, especially fruits, but I haven't had fruit in a while. I have never seen that anchor butter. It's here in Panama. I don't know if it's in the States or not, but it's unsalted New Zealand. You know, you're paying $9 or $10 for it. Sometimes it's on sale. You get it for 7 something, but I love it. It's really good butter. But you know, it's that or Kerrygold. Kerrygold is even more expensive. So I found a happy milieu. You know, I go halfway. Right? I mean, I love good stuff, but I don't like to pay full price for anything. So, alright. Let's put our diced veggies in here. And then we're going to do kind of medium dices. Let's see where my chayote is at. Ooh, good thing I looked because the water is like evaporated. Now I know it's not cooked because that chayote is a stubborn veggie. It looks nice and pretty. That's why it's good in stews, because you can leave it there and not worry that it's going to disappear in the dish. This is what it looks like. I sliced it thin, but let's see. It's ready. It's ready. So I did good by slicing it thin. Okay, so it's ready for my, oh my. I'm surprised it's in the thing down. So what we're going to do with this here, yep. So, oh my God. It's ready. I was like, wow. I was ready for it to just go there for a while. Excelente. So I think that texture is going to be perfect for my salad. Well, maybe a little bit different. Oops. No te muevas. I'm looking for more square dices for my kale salad. All right. You know, with your veggies, you have some garlic, you have olive oil, and then you just add some herbs and a splash of lime juice at the end, and then you're good. You're good to go. Okay, I think I'm just gonna leave the heat down and let it cook. And for my salad, I'm gonna toss some of that in there for my kale. So for the kale, I'm gonna do like on a bias kind of cut, so that it's not straight the same. You want to have a little variety. We call this on the bias. You go it that way, that one. We used to play with carrots, making these cuts. You know, when we used to have knife skill day, my God, those were the most stressful time in culinary school. The chef would be sitting there. We had like a little model, so many centimeters for the small dice. This one is so many, oh my gosh. And then there was something we did with potatoes, which kind of, I'm still traumatized from that. A tournée. The tournée, you take a potato and then you had to come up with this oblong looking thing. So you just cutting. I'm like, what a waste. I told the chef, I said, you're wasting food. Do you know how many kids are starving? Like, shut up, Maggie. Oh, I think that's enough for my salad. All right. So I'm going to toast that with some olive oil, and I won't even bother with the garlic or anything like that. But, ooh, I want to taste this. So this one, a little bit of my herb oil. I'm going to put the recipe of this on my website. And then I added turmeric and curry powder and a little bit of black pepper. And then I did add, you know, I went to that place the other day, Carol, to get you the passion fruit hot sauce. I will get it to you eventually. And I put a little bit of that and a little bit of sriracha. And that's it. That's what's in here. So good. I use that as croutons in my salad, just so you know. All right. So I think I'm going to bring this one to the back burner. So the only thing this is going to need towards the end, once the zucchini and squash cook, is a little bit of a splash of lime juice, and then it will be fine. Okay? And then here, we're going to turn this up. Maybe my little herb oil will work for this one. Yeah, I think so. Yep. No more pepper. And then just some lime juice. I think I'm going to save these, and I can do something with them. Okay. Well, you know what I forgot though? The okra. But you know what? It's too late now to add okra to it. So we're gonna just leave that alone. We put the okra back. You know what else I can add in my in the salad? I have some leftover walnuts. So I'm going to toast some walnuts real quick in a little bit of, you know, like a little splash of brown sugar, and then add it to the salad. Why not? I have it. So I'm rinsing the kale right now. No. And then I'm gonna get a couple of my towels right here and bring the kale, you know, some fresh towel, bring the kale in here and let it dry up a little bit, right? Yes, we can. All right, when you are drying your kale, of course, you know, that's a third bath, right? Make sure you get rid of all the baking soda and the vinegar. Because the idea is to try to get rid of any kind of impurities that might be left on the leaves. And then you just squeeze, right? And we're gonna let it dry for a little bit. I don't have a long time, but so. And the reason you do that is like for leeks, you never know what kind of impurities might have fallen to the bottom. So you don't want to just kind of dump the water and then get your whatever you have in here, because otherwise you're taking in some of that dirt. Ugh. Right? You know, I was not a kale fan. And then now after I did that salad the first time, I'm like, no, I'm digging this. I think I like this. And I gotta see if I have some mint left, because when you make a kale salad, mint is a great addition to the dressing. All right, that's what you do. And then you dump the water, because whatever is left at the bottom doesn't get into your salad. All right, so we're gonna let this sit here for a little bit. It's not gonna be long. If I was like when I had my party, I did this like early, so for hours it was able to get, you know, whatever little water is here evaporated, but we don't have that much time, so. All right, let's see. What I'm gonna do here, because I don't want this to get too overcooked, because you want it to be kind of al dente. So I'm gonna cover it with one of my thing here, and the steam is gonna help it cook a little faster. Right? Let's check. Smells amazing in here, y'all. Alright, I think my, nope, they still need to cook a little bit longer. You know, it's like, now that I cooked the chayote early, I could have put them all together. I could have, but I'm just going to cover it to speed up the cooking process. So now we are going to put our rice. Now my burnt pan is soaking. And as I said, I'm only going to cook a handful of rice, just so that I could plate it for you guys. You making me eat rice. Alright. A little bit of oil and salt. That's it. And then we cook. And then salt, I very rarely, well, not very rarely, I don't use it a lot because adobo has a little bit of salt, so I always have to be mindful. Alright, what else? Get the rice out, then we'll get to the salmon. Salmon has been waiting patiently. I try not to have a lot of rice in my house, but you know, I have a little bag just in case I'm cooking for my crowd or some people. So we're gonna wash it. That's about it. You know, I eyeball, but you know it's 2-to-1 ratio for rice. 2 parts fluid, 1 part rice. Or you could use a rice cooker. The sister said, oh, the rice cooker is gonna perfectly. I said, yep. But I don't have room for more gadgets. And I've never really used a rice cooker. Come on, I'm Caribbean. We don't use a rice cooker. You know, when we were in school, the chef said, you don't need to wash your rice. You don't crush your rice. And then the first rice dish I posted on YouTube, this little Caribbean lady said, honey, wash the rice. I said, yes, ma'am. And and I've been washing my rice ever since. All right, I think we're good here. Look at that, que bonito. All right, take this off. We'll put this somewhere to rest and cool. Okay, let's get with the salmon. The salmon has been very patient. So what I want to do here is to make sure. So I'm going to go to the sink, make sure we don't have any scales. And you know, salmon is very delicate. And if you know me, you know I don't like to clean fish. I'm scared of the scales. When they start flying, get in my hair and my boobs, that is a no bueno. They have this gadget now, but still, the scales be flying. I don't like that. Now see? There's still some scales. So you go to the fish market and they will clean it for you. Some places just automatically clean it, like where we went with Miss Betty. But if you go to the other side of the fish market here, you pay 20 cents per pound. Who would not pay that to have someone clean your fish? If he had said $1 per pound, I would have said, go ahead, honey, please clean it. Now see, this salmon had scale. So that's good. That tells me it was kind of fresh when I bought it. Now look at that. See, we have plenty of scales. All right, let's rinse this baby. Right. So the salmon, I'm going to put the acid last because remember acid, the rice is boiling. Where is the rice? Where is the rice? Up right here. Water is boiling. Turn the heat. All right. All right. So what I have that I can use right now is garlic and a little bit of thyme, salt, pepper. That's all I have. Because with fish, you've never even heard of anybody, people marinating salmon, right? They just take it out and put it on there. But I do a little bit more just because that's just the way I roll, okay? I don't use paprika, but I use a little bit of adobo. Not a lot. And then I do add a little bit of herb de Provence, which I have a little bit of, not a lot. That's gold for me. I kind of use it sparingly because I love this mix. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. A little bit of EVOO, a bit of oil, and just because it's me, a little bit of sriracha. You don't have to. Add the rice. Garlic. Now that is key. Otherwise, I'm not gonna have. The other day I made the wings, right? And then I was getting ready to do the glaze, and I'm like, something is missing. The taste is not right. And I realized I forgot to put garlic. So, doing the glaze, I added fresh garlic to the glaze with the ginger, and it was score. So my palate says, you're missing something, sis. I was like, I forgot to put the garlic. You know, that happens sometimes. You're not on point all the time. And again, for the salmon, you don't need to heavily season. It's a very mild fish. I think it's mild. Somebody may argue, but I think it's really mild. Because the way I build flavor when I cook fish, I was going to tell you earlier, is that I put the oil, a little butter, and then I throw in a twig of rosemary, or you could do fresh garlic, and then you just baste, baste, baste. Bingo! Your flavor is there. I've been doing that. I did that with the mackerel the other day. Oh, I wanted to tell you what I did with the mackerel. I had some leftover mackerel. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock on maybe Wednesday night, and I'm like, I'm hungry. And I've been trying not to eat past 6, right? I said, oh, let's see. Nobody's the boss of me. I am the boss of me. So, I thought out some mackerel, and then I did the same process. I pre-seasoned a little bit, marinade for 5 minutes, and then I cooked it the way I told you, with the olive oil and the butter and the rosemary. Oh my God, it's so good. And then I had a little bit left of my marinara, and I look at that marinara, and I was like, how about if I put that in? I had loads of onions in. That's where I used my last onion, and I just added the marinara. So now I have a new recipe. Marinara infused whatever fish. It was amazing. And you know, it's good if you're not gonna eat any pasta or rice, that you throw some veggies. I could have had a lot of peppers, which I didn't have. I usually try to have peppers here all the time. But that little bit of marinara with the wine sauce, you know, because this is something I make with the wine sauce. I have never, Land O'Lakes. Land O'Lakes was good too when I was in the States. I used that, but you know, Kerrygold is the standard. Where in the market did you buy the maracuya hot sauce? Oh, no, this is a little hole in the wall that I found in Chinatown. Yeah, and even I can't even explain to you how to get there. Because it is off Tumba Muerto, like in a residential area. I think I found them on Instagram. Because the first time I was going, I got there like about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and then the Google Maps says 8-minute walk, and I'm like, oh no, not in this heat. I am not walking for 10 minutes. So I called the Uber, and the Uber was like, huh, where is that? And we kind of found it together. It was like, oh, is that it? It's like in a residential area, and then they call a lot of their, that's why I bought the guacho, and I didn't like that food. But they have some nice, oh, I gotta put some thyme. They have some nice drinks, natural drinks, because they call sabores del campo. That means flavors of the farm, you know, the interior. So they're really into that. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Okay. Oh, there it is. Right in front of me. I think my veggies are done. Yes. Whew. Beautiful. Now, I don't have a lot of, yes, butter to spare, but this is my veggie mix. So I think it's gonna go really well next to the avocado. That I have my avocado here that we will unveil together, $2 on the roadside. All right, so now let's taste it, because I haven't put the the squeeze of lime juice. Mmm, mmm, perfect. Perfecto, wow. So you see that? You put it with some rice, and then we're gonna have our pea soup. Let me tell you. That's what I said. Sometimes I amaze myself just because I play around with my food. Play with your food. Now for me, I'm just gonna add a little maracuya, not maracuya, a little hot sauce, sriracha, and we're gonna squeeze some lime juice. That always adds a little bit of freshness to your meal, to your dish. Now these, I found these little small lime. They're good, but they have seeds. So I found out the hard way. I love lime, but I want to eat the pit. Alright, so this is going to be sitting here. And what I want to do right now is just add some herbs. This is, look at the oregano. You buy this whole thing, Carol, at the Mercado San Felipe for $1. See? Same thing with dried thyme. Okay? And I'm going to add a little bit of Herbes de Provence. So how can that not taste good, huh? It takes you loving on these veggies, because I am the one who's going to eat it, so it has to taste good. Alright, let's leave that alone. It's ready. Good. So now we are working on we need to add the thyme in here. So you see, you can be distracted. But you get distracted, just like I forgot to put the, okay, where's the first thyme? The garlic in the wings. That's like a cardinal sin. What do you mean you forgot the garlic? I did. But I redeemed myself by adding it into the glaze, which, I don't know. I think when you're doing salmon, you need a little something on top of it, because otherwise you don't want it to, you know, taste or look dry, right? When you go to San Felipe, you go to the vegetable section, go all the way to the end when they're selling drinks and dry goods, you know, like corn and beans. And you go there, and then you're going to find on the left a bunch of really sweet ladies selling all kinds of spices and herbs and oil. You get coconut oil, you get honey, all kinds of things there. And the price of the honey is definitely better than even what you get at Merca. Even though, from my experience, prices at San Felipe tend to be a little bit higher than Merca, just a little bit. So I told someone that one time, I'm like, oh, I said I get it for this much at Merca. She said, well, I go to Merca to buy it, so I can sell it to you at the same price. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm a business person, so I understand that. All right, so now we're gonna let our salmon marinate for like 5 minutes. And of course it will taste good. And we're gonna put, I only have one piece of rosemary to do that. All right, let's make sure we have our, ooh, my peas. I need to blanch. Ooh, that's good. Probably gonna add a little bit of cornstarch to get it to the consistency that I want. I think I can take out the bouquet now. It's done its job. All right. So, where is? All right, let's add. Where is my green peas? Green peas, where are you? You know, this girl, Shakira, she doesn't need all that money. What can she share with some of us? Where are the green peas? Oh boy. You know, that happens to me. I'm cooking and then I lose things and I'm like, where did I put this? Oh, that looks so good. Did I put it in the fridge again? Which I could have. Oh, yep, I sure did. It was sitting there in the fridge. Alright, so we're going to blanch these green peas. And remember, if you are trying to eat less meat, start using these frozen green peas. These are teeny. Are they baby? Petite? Didn't say petite. And then you add them to your stew or whatever. You get a fair amount of protein in there. I was surprised when I saw that. I'm like, green peas? Okay. Alright. So let's make sure everything's good. And then we're going to throw our green peas in there. Ooh, that looks so good. Yeah. Alright. The rice is finishing cooking, so I think we can start with the salmon. So what we're going to do here, we're going to get my salad bowl. I love that bowl. Ugh. And I am going to do the whole salad, and then I can use it later on. You know, I can snack on it. So we're just hoping that some of the water had drained into the, the towels. Just hoping. But you know what I like about kale so much is that it stays, it holds its body. It doesn't just, you know, like lettuce sometimes will do. I'm not a lettuce fan. I think I've said that before. I don't like lettuce. But, and when my sister's like, oh, I love lettuce. I say, see, it takes all of us. We all have our own little quirks, right? I'm going to add these that I wanted to put in there. Ooh, see how it adds a pop of color? Now, if you had like, if I had, you know, like cherry tomatoes, like I had it when I had the party, I bought a box of multicolored cherry tomatoes, red, green, yellow, so I'm replacing it with that. So when we finish, after I put the dressing, I'll put my chickpeas in here. Let's see what else I can add. I think I ate what I had in terms of olives. But I do have capers. Oh, I do have some olives. Okay. I have some olives that have pimiento in them, and I have capers. Those are good. So I'm going to chop a little bit of that and add to my salad. Yes, that would be good. And then in the dressing, what did I say I was going to put in here? I don't remember if I wanted to add something else to it. But I think that's going to be good. I'm going to taste the dressing, make sure it's got enough salt so I don't have to use regular salt. It's already got pepper, but I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. It'll be good. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, oh. My beans have tightened up, so I don't think I need to add any cornstarch. It's fine the way it is. Yes. Mmm, very good. All right, so let's go with our um, salmon. We're gonna add a little bit of our butter. That's all I have left, so it definitely is time to go shopping. I have stayed away from Raid for like 2 weeks. So let's see what we're gonna use. So should I cube my avocado, or should I make like a type of guac? I like guac. I don't like it mash, mash, mash. I just kind of cut it small and then put lime juice. Probably lime juice and salt and pepper. That's all I have. So let me know if you want me to like slices or just cubes in the salad, in the kale. Because avocado is very sensitive and delicate. If you kind of use it, touch it too much. Greta, hey, how are you, my friend? Hey, love, I was just wondering if you worked in dock or in a, what? In a jail? No. I was scared of the jail, even when I was in training. No. Sorry. All right. So we're going to blanch our green peas. That's usually how I cook my green peas. Put them in hot water and cover it and let it steep so that I don't lose the color. Right? I put the green peas in hot water. Alright, so now we have our pot, and then I'm going to throw my rosemary in there. That's how I cook my fish, and I'm guaranteeing you that it is going to be yummy. Alright, so with our salmon, what we didn't do was the acid, if you remember. I said I was going to wait. So now we're going to put our acid. Because that's the principle behind ceviche. You start putting your acid early, it starts cooking the fish. So you put it last. If you're seasoning, if you're not, people add their acid at the end. They do that. I don't cook like Americans, because my style is a little bit different. Not that I'm criticizing anybody, all right? Understand that. I'm not that kind of person. So I'm going to throw a couple of little pieces of garlic that I have. And in my book, you cannot ever have too much garlic. I know. And as soon as it hits the heat, it's just like, try it. You'll thank me later. All right. So what we want to get a good caramelization on that back. So we're not going to turn it for a few minutes. All right. Because we can decide to serve our salmon skin up. Okay. Yes. Ooh, I think I'll put this down on my peas, or I won't have any liquid left. All right, so we can put some stuff away. I'm going to use a little bit of, looks like I'm making a little bit of a glaze, but I'm going to use the rest of that marinade and a little bit of jalapeno. Now, if I had like nice parsley, I would do that as well. But I don't today. You do what you can with what you have. Now this is key. You want all that flavor oil on your on your fish. That's the idea in putting all that goodness in the oil. How can that fish not taste good, huh? Come on. Alright, it needs to stay there for a little bit. Yep, my peas are good, my green peas. So I'm going to strain and then bring in. You'll be popping, Sissy. Calm down. Woo! The fish is popping. It said it's too hot. Alright. And the reason I do this with the peas is because I want some of that green color. So see, it looks like it kind of looks like a curry, doesn't it? It gives you the consistency of a curry. So how can this not be good, huh? Yes. So I'm gonna need the rest of that little butter that I have, so I can't use it in here. Maybe some more lime. Okay. Alright. So let's turn this down. Let's look. Ooh, it's looking good. Alright. Let's get our fish spatula. You know, this is something you need your fish spatula in your kitchen to flip the fish. I remember when I got my my knife bag. It was so nice. I was so excited. Oh, this one's not ready. This one in the middle. Turn the heat up a little bit. It was popping me, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Behave. No popping allowed. Alright. Put that in. And of course, with any fish, you're going to be careful you don't overcook it because it's going to change the texture. I went to this restaurant this week and they're like, I said, I want this salmon, and they're like, medium? I'm like, you are asking about medium and well done? You know, we're not used to that. And then this girl, the server, said, yeah, I'm from Colombia. We don't ask, you know, salmon, you just cook the salmon. But here, they give you a choice. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of like a steak. So we're going to let it rest for a little bit and then do a quick glaze. And then, yep, there we go. So what was the verdict for the avocado? Should I slice it? Okay. No answer. So I will make an executive decision about, oh yeah, my peas are done. What about the rice? Rice is done. Let's see if I need to leave it under. Yeah, a few more minutes. All right. All right. We're gonna take the salmon out, let it rest, and do that quick glaze with a little bit of honey. So the salmon is singing. So yummy. But you know, I can't taste anything, otherwise I'm gonna take something off the salmon and it would not be aesthetically correct. So, yep, it's good. You make sure, you know, you don't see any pink there. Don't ever overcook your fish. All right. So we're gonna let it rest, just like you do a steak. Because you're cutting it right now, all the yummy goodness is gonna flow out. So I'm gonna take these out. You did your job, Mr. Romero. Well done. All right. So now that I have all this goodness, you know, I'm gonna use that garlic, of course. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And I don't want to get rid of all the goodness with the garlic and the jalapeno. Yes. Let it cook for like a minute, and then I'm gonna bring in a little bit of honey, and that's it. That is it. I think I have some honey. Very good. I just want the garlic to cook a little bit. And see, this is gonna be the glaze that's gonna go over the fish. So you don't want it to disappear. All right, I think we are ready. And figure out what we're gonna do. So we gotta finish off with the salad. Okay, you're good. Let's add a bit of honey. And so, now when you're doing the wing, you do the same thing except you add some garlic, some really good garlic. That's kind of sweet. Let's see. Let's add a little bit of Dijon. You got a little Dijon, then it's gonna kind of knock out some of that sweetness. And sometimes on fish, you just do a regular lemon butter sauce. That's good too. But I don't like to put lemon with the honey. That's just me. Okay? So now you have something to pour over your salmon so it's not dry. Right? So we're good here. For our salad, let's chop off some of that capers. You know, as I said, because Panama is so close to the Spanish culture, all these things that you use in Spanish cuisine, we have here. So we use a lot of capers and olives. Very abundant here. Actually, capers are not expensive here at all. Black olives a little bit, but regular green olives not very expensive. So if you're into olives, you're in good company. When you go to the full. Oh, I think that's what I meant. I was gonna add to the dressing. Okay. Remember earlier I was like, what did I say I was gonna add to the dressing? I couldn't remember. Capers. Because even though when you're making just regular salad dressing, you can chop some capers in there. And anchovies, I know people wrinkle their nose about anchovies. Anchovies, they just have so much flavor. And you have it in your Caesar salad dressing. So what are you talking about? If you say, ew, anchovies, yes. We used to make buckets of it at the restaurant. Buckets, you hear me? All right, let's do some olives. I think we're gonna leave the olives whole. Goodness. They're just in here tight. Like twins. And I like to rinse them because remember the brine, whatever they put them in, I don't know what it is, so I don't want to eat that. Alright. So was there anything else you wanted to put in our salad? Oh, just the avocado. I've decided I'm just gonna what do you call that? Dice the avocado and then put it on top on my plate when I'm plating. Alright, so let's taste the salad dressing and see if it needs anything else before I pour it over. Alright, needs salt. It's got plenty of acid. And I'm going to add a little bit of Dijon in it. I'm so glad this Dijon is finishing. I did not like this brand. I like Bull and Basket, but I didn't like the way the Dijon came out. Alright, I have other mustard. I actually like this brand the most. I have the grainy and the smooth one. I like this one. I love the grainy mustard. They made us make this in school. I mean, I thought it was torturing us. I'm like, who wants to make mustard? Shoot. Make you make mayonnaise, mustard. Mayonnaise wasn't so bad because we made it also at the restaurant. But mustard? Because what the mustard does, it just emulsifies the dressing and makes it thicker with the olive oil, right? So I think I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. Because, you know, as I use it, throughout the week, I kind of have to replenish. I start with the base of my herb oil, and then I just add to it. You know, like, I can't find red wine vinegar. I had a hard time. So I think I'm going to have to go maybe to Price Smart. Okay. So let's just pour. Oh, that one wasn't thick enough, but anyway, we're just gonna pour it. Okay. And get ready. Get ready, get ready. Get ready, get ready. And I don't have any cheese to add to it, so it's all green. And that's okay. We're good. Yes. So good. Alright. So the first plate we're going to do. Why don't we cut into the avocado and see what we have to work with here? Because I still don't know. What is this? Oh, that was for the, I see tuna. The olives. That's what I say, olives. I see tuna. I'm like, whose idea was that? That's a weird name. Alright. So, el arroz. So we're gonna mold it and okay, if we use our Asian bowl, that would be good. Because I don't have anything that is deep enough. So I believe we can use this one, even though it's not a lot. So I'm going to use a small ramekin, another big one. One thing I've been thinking of making is some creme brulee, but I can't show it to you because it has to stay in the fridge overnight. Maybe I'll start it on a Sunday and then we can finish it up on a Monday. Right? Because you have to do that, you gotta put it, I don't know if my stove can broil, but you have to burn that brown sugar that you put on top to do the caramelization. Okay? Put that back. Yay. And then I'm thinking we can do the peas and then add some of the greens. You know, actually, I think I could do that. Do it like a poke and just put the green on one side and then the veggies on the other, and then kind of decorate with the avocado. That works. Yes. Play with your food. Oh, Maggie, why you have to mess up your rice like that? All right. Veggies. Like I said, if you go to a restaurant and they serve you a plate that looks like the chef didn't even take a towel to clean it up, don't go back. I know. I'm a bit anal about certain things. All right. Let's see what I want to do. I want to put avocado, and then the green. So the green go on this side. Actually, I'm feeling some kind of way that I needed more colors, more green, but because I don't like brown food. When the food is, on the plate, it just looks, see, I don't have any tomatoes. I have a little yellow, so I guess that I've redeemed myself. Now let's cut into that avocado. Where did I put it? Right here. And see. Woohoo! I know I'm silly. Just because I'm happy when I'm cooking, okay? So bear with me. So this is a test. I think we did good. I think it looks good. Yes. Tastes amazing. I haven't had avocado in a while. Yummy. All right. So good. I think I'm just gonna cut the top and then cut. Wow. Very good, very good. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how you have to let the avocado ripen, right? You don't want to cut into it too early. Not only does it taste bad, it just doesn't present too well. Okay. Good. To me, avocado is a superfood. I just love avocado. And it does have a decent amount of fat, but it's good fat. So if you're one of those people who's like, oh, I don't eat any fat, well, I can help you there. No te puedo ayudar. To me, food is to be enjoyed. When you put so many restrictions on you and your food, I feel like you just, this could be called also a poke bowl. You know that, right? This is my poke dish. Except that I don't have any edamame or anything like that on it. Okay, but who says you have to have edamame? Okay, so now I can just use one of my salmon. One of my salmon steaks. Why not? I'm putting it right here. You know what I did the other day when I cooked? I took the skin and then I kind of got it really crispy in a little bit of oil, and then you use it as a garnish. I saw that in Peru, and I'm like, how ingenious. Yes. Now I don't have anything to decorate with, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick a couple of lemon wedges. That's all I got. Alright, and because you don't want your food to be dry, right? Who wants to eat dry food? So you want to bless the salmon with a little bit of a drizzle. And you're good. So, lemon wedges, lime wedges. I bought this little bag of lime from this little cute lady on the way to to the fish market. She was so sweet. $1. She's older, and she's out there working. So of course I was gonna buy something from her. I'm like, oh, buenos dias, señora, doña. You know, I told my student to call old people don and doña. So that would have been my turn to say, to call somebody doña. Aquí estamos. Ooh, here's a new poke bowl. Look at that. Now, if you had some parsley, you would just put a little bit of parsley there. See? That is a healthy bowl of food. Now, on this avocado, you want to squeeze a little lime, okay? Because otherwise, the air is going to make it go brown on you. Remember that. Oxidation. Oh, I think a pit got in. I was just telling you about the pit. Oh, I got to get it out. Oh. Ven acá. Oh, it went all the way in there. Hiding from me. Oh my God. Maggie, how did you let this happen? Oh, I got it. Whew. My goodness. Alright. So, that's what I have in the house. That's what I came up with. Alright. Now we're going to use our salad bowl. We're going to plate a kale salad with the salmon and with avocado. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see. Okay, we're going to use another. You know, I've been looking for these plates that I used to have at my restaurant. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think I can order them from Amazon, but they might break before they get here. You know, big, beautiful, handsome, white, square, white dishes. Where is my, is that it? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, okay. Now see, I have this dish, but it's just not deep enough. I need a dish that can really, you know, hold the salad. Okay. I don't think this will work. So we're gonna use this one. This one is like for pho, you know, like a pho dish. A pho or pho, however you say it. Vietnamese. Alright. So I have extra veggies left for me to enjoy. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Fresh kale. Look how glistening. That kale is singing, okay? It is singing. So I'm getting some of that. You know, in this kind of salad, you can roast some sweet potatoes, some regular potatoes, and just put it in there. It's all hearty and wholesome, and then it's a meal, right? Look at that. All right, so I'm gonna slice the avocado this time and just lay it right here and then put the salmon on top. Play with your food. So this type of avocado, I think Haas would be really great for this kind of dish, but I use what I have. I use what I have. Who says I have to use Haas? And then when I saw this guy say you take a Haas and put it in a thing of water, and is it baking soda or something you put in the water and the worms are coming out? You know? Now I don't know how true that is. You know how people lie online? I'm like, oh my goodness. Whew. They really make you scared to eat. Alright, so I gotta take a little bit of that thing off. There we go. And we're gonna just sit our avocado there. Next, to make sure, I gotta be gentle so it doesn't break, because that mess up the aesthetics. Ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Vamos. Cuidado, 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 cuidado. And, oh, okay. We saved 2. One more. Yes. Whew. Vamos. Well, this one is thin enough that I can do this instead of taking a risk that it's gonna rip. That works. Put that right here to cover this hole. Perfecto. Mira. Mira, mira, mira. Okay. So now we have our salmon. Woohoo! Let's see, how about this way? Yes. I don't think you need to put 2 because it would probably kind of look like it's overpowering the dish. We're gonna put our glaze on. This is our honey glaze for our salmon with garlic and all kind of yummy goodness. Because you don't want your salmon to be dry when you bite into it. Now, the salad has been dressed, so it's not dry. And again, I don't have anything else to decorate with except some lime wedges. Well, with the slices, because that's what I have on hand. Oh my God, look at that. This thing has pits, which is good because you know how we talk about watermelon, seedless watermelon. Everybody's like, oh, how come they don't have seeds? I don't know. Somebody messed with the genes. Okay, don't try that again. Okay. Then we're going to squeeze a little lemon on the avocado so it doesn't brown on us. A little lime. All right, that's all I have. That's all I have. Maybe some jalapeno. Hold on. Now that jalapeno that I have is not looking that fresh, but we'll see what we can come up with. On top of the salmon. This will have wrinkle like it's old. That means I've been using it for a while. It's been in my fridge for a while, so. Ooh. Oh my God. Play with your food. Alright guys. I know I've kept you for a long time. But isn't this fun to play around with Maggie on Sundays? How's the weather? Oh, Vietnam. Okay. I like cube avocados. Okay, I used a cube. Okay, this is the one with the kale salad, avocado, and then the salmon, and then I put like a little, you know, I'm just playing around, right? You don't have to do that. And then this is the poke with the beans, chickpeas, and lima beans, and green peas. And we have a vegetable, I don't want to say medley, with chayote, zucchini, and squash. And you do have your cube avocado. So this is a healthy bowl or whatever you're eating. So I got that. I have more peas left, more rice. That's no bueno. I might throw it away. I have some salads and veggies. I'm good for the rest of the week. I don't cook during the week. I might crack a couple of eggs. And I looked around. Sometime I'm hungry and I'm like, I have no sardines or anything like that. So, but this month has been busy. You know, it's been one party after another. And I'm like, I'm ready to just slow down. I don't know what's happening. But birthday party, there's another birthday party in September. That one's September. Our group meet up, and Exodus Summit on the 5th. I'm not going to be able to make the luncheon, but they have a rooftop gathering afterwards, so I'm going to have to make a point to show up there, and probably will do a live from the time I'm there because I'm not going to be able to go to the luncheon. I don't want to cancel my classes to go to Exodus Summit. So, but anyway, ladies, thank you so much. You think I was, did I do okay with the salmon? No, oh, I forgot. I still have 2 more pieces of salmon. So let's give it a try because we could not cut into the other one to see how the taste came out. I love salmon. And I had bought that big old whole, I don't know what you want to call it, at the Casa de Jamon, House of Ham in Costa del Este. So, oh my God, so good. But I knew it would be good. The basting with the rosemary and the garlic, even if you did not season your salmon, if you used to not seasoning it, it would be good. It is amazing. You could also just do the rice with the bean mixture and the salmon. Full meal without the avocado or anything like that. So that's why I cook on Sundays. The rest of the week, I just put things in containers and I just go from one container to the other. Amazing. The salad is on point. You're getting your greens. All right. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. So the rest of the day, I'm just going to chill. And then I look at the kitchen. I get up, I do a little bit. But it gets done before I go to bed. Thank you, guys. I don't know what next week we're going to do, but, you know, we just go with the flow because I do have to replenish this coming week. I have to get herbs, you know, and veggies, some sardines. I still have some fish. This is a whole bag of fish that I have, but I can use. And I think I have some fish heads, so I can do some more soup. I have to make some more marinara, so that because marinara is something I always like to have. You know, I freeze it in those little jars, and you know, like I always have garlic. You know, you buy one of these over here for like $1.25. So I always have that, and I try to have onions. Red onions are more expensive, so I only buy it if I'm doing a recipe. But regular yellow onions, I usually have. Green peppers, you know, bell peppers, I like to have those. My spices are always on point, dry herbs and regular spices, so I don't usually go out. Whenever I start going low on olive oil, I kind of panic because I like to get the big one and just make sure I have it. And I'm getting ready to get another jar of vinegar. Vinegar is something I like to have here because it's good for cleaning. You can clean your floors with it, and it's a universal disinfectant. That's why I use it to get rid of impurities in my kale. And of course, if you buy like bags of fruits and veggies, you throw them in your sink, fill it up, put some lot amount of vinegar in there, and then some of that baking soda, let it soak. And then after maybe 30 minutes or an hour, you can forget it. Then get a scrubber and scrub and clean, rinse real good. Then put them in containers in your fridge. Then you know they're clean. Because don't think because you are in Panama that everything is organic, there's no pesticide. Who told you that, sis? No. And the other thing I like to do, you know, I like to keep veggie broth in the refrigerator. Sometimes I freeze it because when you're doing anything, if you start with a broth, and some French chefs, they're also putting wine in their veggie broth. I don't, because I like to keep my wine. I use wine in my marinara, and if I'm cooking fish, I like to use white wine. Red wine, I don't use that much. I don't like red wine, and I don't use meat, so it goes well with red meat. Um, what else do I always have here? Rice, like I said, I have a little bag, leave it there just in case I have someone. I like to have quinoa, so I buy the three types of quinoa: white, red, and black. And then if I mix them, I make the mixed one, because when I go to Organica, they charge you a bunch of money per pound. I can make my own, so I'm good. Um, so oregano, all the dry herbs I always have, but I like to have fresh thyme, fresh cilantro, fresh rosemary, and the rest of the stuff is if I want to, like mint. Ooh, I didn't put any mint in my salad. I love to put mint in my salad, fresh mint leaves. Or I use it for tea. I love mint tea with some lime in there. And if I stick a cinnamon stick in there, I don't miss the sugar. What else do I always have around? Dry beans. I always have dry beans. Um, Look how much chickpeas I have. Yes. And then I have red, I have black. I have all sorts of beans. Now, we are talking a lot about emergency preparedness here because of everything that's happening in the Caribbean and in Latin America with these earthquakes. I personally don't feel that we are protected. I feel that we may experience an earthquake. I don't have a crystal ball. I saw this little man on social media after the earthquake. I don't know if it was far-fetched. You know how people make things up. He's all white-haired and stuff, and he's like, somebody, you might have seen him too, after the earthquake in Venezuela, and it's like, oh, repent, the Lord, blah, 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 and it's like, Colombia, you next. I'm like, really? I'm a skeptic, you know that, so I don't know whether it was made up or not. But they have some environmental channels, or you have scientists. Scientists have predicted a major underground type of earthquake along the Pacific. You can read that. And of course, if you don't believe in science, you probably won't believe any of that. And you could live in La La Land and say, I don't want to la 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 la. You could do that too. But the world is warmer. The world temperature, the temperature in the air, everything is dry. That's why you have those terrible fires. The water is warmer, so you have the air is warm, the water is warm, and then it kind of starts a turbulent, I don't know. So you get hurricanes, and the rain is just, they have floodings everywhere. You've seen that. You see all the fires that are burning. It's like something's happening, right? And this channel I was looking at said that, Trinidad has been experiencing a lot of floodings and stuff. They're like, well, the lines underneath in that area. So who knows? But what I know is that I'm telling the sisters and people that I know, just to make sure you review your emergency plan. I lived in Florida for a long time, and we have hurricane season, and every February, people come, the emergency management system or whatever, they come and tell you to remind you to get yourself ready. So you kind of make sure your roof is in good shape, you check your windows. Some people are ready with shutters, because shutters protect your windows from just blowing up. When it starts raining, people go get bags of sands, even though sometimes it doesn't matter. But you can't hide from the storm. So what you could do is just prepare the best you can, and what will be, right? Because I don't believe people in Colombia expected a terremoto, earthquake, to hit them. and they were not as affected as Venezuela. That is true. But you just never know. And we look around here for us who live in Panama City with all the high rises, and you're like, you may live in a building that is up to code, but that doesn't mean you 100% protected. And you have a lot of older buildings that may, oh, you know what I forgot to put in my salad? Oh, my chickpeas. Oh, so now they're going in. We have to have our chickpeas in that salad. Oh, okay, that's good. So my picture is gonna look right. I forgot my chickpeas. Huh? You know why? Because I did not want to put it in and then pour the dressing, because you want the crispiness. So you want to add it at the end. Like right now. So for your emergency plan for someone where we are in Latin America, I'm looking at the ocean, tsunami warnings, I don't know. But when you're on a high floor, and that might reinforce for some sisters to say, well, that's why I don't want to be high. Well, if you're high, it's one thing. But if there's a tsunami, if you're low, right? Pick your, I don't know, disaster, right? So we have been talking about having a ready-to-go emergency bag. And you know what? Let me show you what my bag looks like. So I was going to do that in a separate video, but I don't know where I went. But I was looking for a bag that looks like this, right? I did not want a bag that looked like a backpack. So in this bag, and I'm not going to show you everything, but I have clothing. You know, I have like a change of clothes. You know, slippers. I have toiletries. I have a robe in there. I have one change of clothes. I have a pair of sneakers in here with socks. I have nightwear, you know, in case, you know, I have to be in the hospital of some sort. I have underwear. And then what is going to be in this bag here, I'm going to have paperwork with my information, meaning my name, where I live, my doctor, my allergies, my medications, any kind of medical condition that I have. The other thing I recommend that people do in their emergency bag, and put like maybe 3 days worth of medications that you have to have. Nothing about Tylenol, which you can have Tylenol, but if you are diabetic, not your insulin, it needs to be refrigerated. But I think not all of them. It's been a while since I give insulin. But, you know, your medications, allergies are important, right? Your next of kin locally, your next of kin. And because if somebody were to find you and they see this, they will be able to identify you. Call your doctor, call your family. But inside your house, you want to have bottled water. So I have a lot of individual bottles. And I have that one jar that I use to exercise. I'm in the gallon, so I'm going to get a few more gallons of water. Because what you're thinking is, if there is a disruption, if there's an earthquake, and then the lines are messed up, it's going to be a few days for you to get electric, like we do over there after a snowstorm or whatever. So you want to be able to function. Now, I don't have a lot of canned food. You guys know I'm not a fan. But I have to get some canned food that I can live on, you know, some chickpeas in a can, some beans, not Chef Boyardee, I don't think I would go down, but crackers, you know, dry thing that you can eat. You want to have maybe not candles, but batteries, right, and a flashlight. I have in my other house, my other room, in the guest room, I have like a big flashlight, right? And anything that you have that could operate on batteries, you want to get that. When I was in the U.S., I had a shortwave radio that ran on batteries where you could get information. I mean, I knew the radio stations, but here I don't. So you want to make sure your phone now, the Wi-Fi could be disrupted. So you're going to be able to get warnings. Now the Android, which is a phone that I'm using now, they have a feature where if they feel a terremoto, earthquake coming, the alarm will go off, right? And I think I read that the government here is working with Google to see if they can have like an emergency alert system, because we don't have that here. Not that I know of. Let's see. Other things that you might want to consider having is, besides water, is to have like a power bank that you can charge. I have a solar powered charger that I got before I went to South Africa, because the one thing that is cheap here is solar, the sun. It's kind of cloudy right now, but on a sunny day, put it outside, let it charge up, so at least it will give you a little bit of juice for your phone. Now, I lived through like the 4 hurricanes that happened in the US, and even with Maria, I never lost my Wi-Fi. My phone worked the whole time, so thank you, Lord. So, because the idea is also you want to be able to communicate with folks, and that is if the lines are not disrupted. Okay? So just think about that and make sure you have an emergency plan. And we have our WhatsApp, so we will be checking on each other. And I do have a WhatsApp for my family, so they would be checking on me if the news said something. And listen, sisters, just don't get yourself all worked up and worried, because there's not much you can do about weather elements, right? We are powerless. Unfortunately, we are at the mercy of the element, at the mercy of Mother Nature. Mother Nature is the boss. She's badass. She decides what she wants to do, and the rest of us, I keep seeing, water in New York, water in Indiana, flooding here, flooding there. It is crazy. We have an area here in Panama that has been battered for weeks. Bocas del Toro, they have had flooding for a long time. People's houses just water this high, and it's like so disruptive, and people losing the little bit that they have. This is a no bueno situation, okay? So I just don't want anybody to be in la la land and think that, oh, nothing like that will ever happen where I am. Always be on the ready, okay? Always be on the ready. And I think the emergency bag is a good idea. Even if you were to be found in your home, at least they grab that bag, you got everything you need in there. The other thing that we recommend you add, you can have a folder with information that's in the bag. You also want to have a copy of your credit card, right? Because if you go to a hospital here, or if you have any insurance plan, just have a copy of your card so that they can access and get you coverage. Or here in Panama, if you don't have insurance, then they can bill your credit card so they can begin treating you. All right? And the other thing that we recommend is that you keep some cash on hand. Cash is king. If there's an emergency, the ATM is not going to work. The roads are going to be blocked. What are you going to do if you need money? So keep some cash on hand. How much cash is up to you. But I recommend like $300 to $500, right? That way you can survive for a few days, weeks, right? Of course, you're going to be very thrifty. But have things in the house you can, snack on. Crackers, sardines, anything that you can just pop open and eat, because you're not going to have electricity. Oh, the other thing that I read the other day as part of, you can download a list of emergency items. You could ask ChatGPT to give you a list of items to secure an emergency. And one thing someone mentioned is battery powered fan. I've never thought about that because all the fans, everything here is plugged in. But if there is no electricity, so my goal this week is to go on Amazon and see if there is such a thing. You know, we have the um, uh, power, battery powered fans, that people they can charge it up or they can use a little battery and you put it around your neck to keep you cool. Imagine the weather patterns we've been having here with, they say, oh, it's going to feel like 106 and you stuck at home. And then opening the window is usually no better. So battery powered fans, I am going to look into it. And if I see one, I will tell you what the brand is and get yourself one. Get yourself one. It's just a matter of being proactive, right? I believe in being proactive. I'm not an alarmist. I don't alarm. I don't get frazzled very often, but I realize at some point I can only do what I can do. But what it is that I can do, I should do, right? And then kind of share that with my ladies and other people to say, just be on the ready. Panama is in between two oceans, right? The other day there was some kind of earthquake somewhere in the Atlantic. They were talking about the Pacific. Because of the Super El Nino, they said the Super El Nino is going to repress the Atlantic activity where you have all the hurricanes. Instead, we're going to have earthquakes. I don't know if that's a better choice. We have, I've been doing some research on that. Even not earthquake, the volcanoes are just, getting antsy too. It's like, what is the matter? Come down, folks. Come down, So that's why when I see mankind being so uppity and all puffed up like there's something, and I'm like, Mother Nature is your boss. You don't realize that. Yeah, you can build your fort and go underground and hide or whatever, but Mother Nature is the boss. So just kind of relax and humble yourself a bit. Yes. All right. All right, sisters. So that's my little piece of advice for today, and I'm going to try to follow my own advice and be ready. All right, Auntie. Thank you for joining me. You all. Greta, so good to see you all. But I'm going to take a couple of pictures, and my avocados are still looking good because I squeezed that little lime juice. But I don't know what I'm going to, I actually don't feel hungry today. I have half an avocado, but I love these salmon, so I'll eat something and then chill out. All right, thank you so much, you guys. I love you. I will talk to you soon. God bless you. Over. Bye.